Here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. Welcome into another episode of Trust the Tape. It's good to see you. My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Cavanaugh! And of course, I'm joined by your favorite former Cowboy scout, man with the Super Bowl ring. He's not shy to tell you about it when you smoke him at any sort of game show style situation. He'll break out his Super Bowl ring, Super Bowl football, Bryan Broaddus.
Hey, Bryan.
What's up? Here we go. Yep, here we go. Yeah, well, there's Bryan, Super Bowl winner. What a jerk. Yeah, Super Bowl winner.
That was me.
Broaddus.
That was me after the game, smoking a cigar, getting
That's
ready
nice.
with the Super Bowl hat on.
That's nice. That's nice.
Man.
Well, Cowboys' schedule was released last night, and we can talk about that. We can talk about those things. We can talk about anything
road
else.
Road games ain't doing them any favors, man. This road schedule is one of the most difficult road schedules I've seen in a while. Been kind of following this team since 1972. This one looks pretty daunting the way they have it broken down.
Do you mean that in terms of
the opponents
opponents
and how they got it scheduled?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it odd that my first takeaway when I looked at the Cowboys schedule is I think it did them a favor?
In what way? I mean, I just interested. I might see it your way if you can convince me, but I didn't see it that way.
All right, check it out. Check me out. Outside of Arizona and Tennessee, I believe the Cowboys' two quote easiest opponents this year are inside your division.
They're 1-8 versus Arizona.
They're
1-8 against Arizona the last 9.
Clarence tried to do that with me last night too, and I'll tell you this right now.
You ain't doing it with me.
Put your money where your mouth is if you think the Cardinals are going to beat the Cowboys.
The spread is already 10.5.
Yeah, I'm open for business.
Watch Dallas just completely S the bed.
No.
It's a game coming. No. Okay, it's coming after a road game against Philadelphia, a Monday night road game.
Whatever,
yes.
Man. Whatever, man.
Just keep thinking that thought, Jeffrey. Keep thinking that thought.
If they lose to the Cardinals, the season's over.
They lose to the Cardinals every time. What are you talking about?
If they lose to the Cardinals, the season's over. Okay? you got to let the past be the past. Okay? The past was the past, and it's over.
You have a better chance of going to Green Bay and winning a game than beating the Cardinals.
Matt said, my boy Jeff is a Spurs fan. No, I just happen to be wearing a black T-shirt, okay? No. Okay, so hear me out. Instead of pretending the Cardinals are going to beat the Cowboys, okay? I got my new defensive coordinator. Everybody wants him to do a good job. Yeah. I don't want him. I don't need him starting slow. If you start slow, you're going to be in deep doo-doo.
Pick him 9-8, Jeff. Go ahead and do it. Just say it.
I think I picked him 11-6.
Oh, did you?
I had to retroactively give them a loss as we worked our way through the schedule.
Yeah, because you were being too much of a homer.
Yeah, because I was like, this is going to add up to too many. Let me back up and give them an L here.
You had him going to Seattle and getting a win there.
No, not that one. But I would have ended at 12-5 when I was going game by game. I was like, let me back up and give them an L to I think it was Philly in the first game or something, who's falling apart, of course. But I think your easiest teams that you're playing are the Giants and the Commanders. And you get them to get yourself off to a good start. And when it's time to see if you can make the playoffs, you get them again in the last 2 weeks. The hardest teams that you're going to play, I think, you can throw San Francisco in, but Philly, Seattle, Rams. And for 3 of the games.
Houston?
Yeah. No, there's other tough
games. At Houston?
There's other tough games. But I think the 3 hardest, the Cowboys get extra time to get ready for Seattle. Then they get a bye before they play the Rams, and they get an extra day to get ready for the Eagles. You start and end with New York and Washington. I think it's as nice as it could be. The teams are the teams. You got a tough schedule. But I think having the ability for a fast start, the ability for a fast close, and extra time to prepare for probably the 2 best teams in football and the other best team in your division, I'm calling it a win, Bri. Calling it a win.
11-hour flight to Brazil against a Raven team that has a history of kind of beating teams up when they play against them. Now we'll see what happens with the Ravens. We'll see. New coach, new everything there with in regard to that, but they do have a history of being a pretty playoff football team.
For sure.
A physical team.
It'll be a toughie.
Turn around then. Okay, they're gonna make you play that one on a Sunday at 3:25. They're gonna make you fly home. Now, where they do you a favor is they send you to Houston, which is a 45-minute flight. They send you to Houston, but they send you to Houston after getting home Monday morning, and then they're going to turn around and send you for a noon game at Houston. And Houston's, I think, road record or home record was, I think they were 7-1 last year. A very good defensive team.
Yeah.
So having to prep for that, that could be a little of a daunting task. Having to prep for a defense that comes after you the way that they do could be a little bit of a daunting task. Then they turn around and make you play a Thursday game at home against Tampa Bay. Well, Tampa Bay generally will start very quick and then they fade at the end. I think you probably want to play Tampa more towards the end of the season than you do want to play them when they get, all of a sudden we're talking about Baker Mayfield and they're 5-1 and they're playing great and all that stuff like that. I think that stretch is going to be very, very difficult. The travel, the opponents, and then the short week of having to get ready for another opponent that could be very good on defense. We'll see what happens. Tampa has made some upgrades. Baker Mayfield coming back to Texas, it could be very, very difficult. It could be a difficult game for the Cowboys. It could be a difficult game for Tampa, depending. Then having to go, then you get time for at Green Bay, at Philadelphia. That's a Sunday night game in Green Bay. You catch a break really because the weather's not going to be terrible on October 18th.
That's right.
And then you got the Monday game at Philadelphia the following week. Now comes your Cardinals, which you think is a layup. Now you might need that. You might need that Cardinal game to keep you. You might be on a little bit of a, they've lost 3 of the last 4, and you need to find a way to get the ship right here. But going to Indy is going to be no bargain. That way they run the football. You better buckle up and be ready for that one. The quarterback situation, who knows what's going to happen there. But then you got the home games, San Francisco, Tennessee, and Philadelphia. And Philadelphia, again, is on the short week of Thanksgiving. The Titan game might be the one that, playing the Titans earlier might have been better because maybe they haven't figured things out. We'll see what happens with Bob Saleh and that defense. Are they going to play better than they have in the past? And did they get the quarterback situation right? Those 3 home games will be key. You got to find a way to win. You've got to find a way to win 2 of the 3 of those right there. Then comes, I think, the difficult part, and we have the bye in between the 2 West Coast trips. Monday night in Seattle, that's going to be probably a hell of a football game. A lot could be on the line there for the Cowboys as well. When you start to talk about conference records and things like that. But then you get the bye, and then you have to go back out to the West Coast for another 3:25 game against the Rams. They did you a favor by splitting up the 2 West Coast trips with a bye week. And so I think that'll help you. Who knows what Jacksonville is going to be at the end of the season? Jacksonville is another one of those teams that starts off exceptionally well, and by the end of it, they're kind of like leaking oil, and that being a Sunday night game. So I don't know, man. This thing's kind of got. I worry more about the road games than I do the home games. I think the road schedule is really, really difficult for this football team.
Yeah, but we knew that before, right? Like that was going to be the road schedule was going to be tough because of the road opponents, and that week, that stretch early in the season up through week 5, they're making it pretty tough on you.
Well, the fact, Houston, Green Bay, Philly, and Indy. I mean, those are quality. I think Green Bay was 5-3 last year at home. Philly was kind of a 5-3 team. Who knows? I mean, everybody thinks that Philadelphia's kind of falling apart.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see with the new coordinator and all that. We'll see.
The fun part about Philadelphia, Brian, is not only are they falling apart, they are intentionally going to show their quarterback this year his own shortcomings and then get rid of him after this season is over. That's what they're going to do, because they're going to trade A.J. Brown here in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. That's going to happen. And then they're going to go into the season and they're going to be like, all right, Jalen, you got Devontae Smith, and then we got you Mekhi Lemon, and we got you what's his name, tight end guy. Like we got you some guys that dominate.
Not Travis Kelce. I said Dallas Goedert, right?
Well, they drafted the second round Eli Stowers, right?
Stowers. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Stowers. So they're like, look, we got you these middle of the field monsters. We know you're terrified to even look at the middle of the field. Well, now you're going to have to, because we just got you Mekhi Lemon and Stowers. We're going to work the middle of this field, baby. He's still not going to, because he's just terrified to even look in that direction, because my God, there could be clutter. And so by the end of it, they're like, all right, so you don't run a bunch anymore. We don't run design runs for you. We got you weapons to go to the part of the field that you refuse to go to. You still won't go there. And then the end of Philadelphia falling apart will be the end of this season. And that'll be nice. And then we'll have to worry about somebody else in the division, because that'll be the end of the Eagles. Their offensive line will be like, we're about done dealing with this dude too. We're out of here. Sirianni's going to get fired. You just have to hope that the Cowboys have a good enough season that Jerry doesn't then hire Sirianni and say that he has a Super Bowl coach. That's the only problem that could come out of this.
Do you worry about maybe that your defensive coordinator fixes things and all of a sudden he goes back to Philly as the head coach?
Yeah, and then I think you just have to look at, I guess, your defensive coaching depth chart and be like, all right.
Oh, he told me he's got the guy on staff. You know.
Yeah,
and
I think you just make Caleb Downs.
Yeah,
you make Caleb Downs the defensive coordinator, and you just keep it cooking that way. Sure. He can just do it. Corey's in the super chat. Jalen Thompson will be the best player in 26. If he is, I don't know that would be a good thing. I mean, I'd love for Jalen Thompson to be a great player, but if Jalen Thompson is better than Quinnen Williams, then I think you probably had something go terribly wrong with Quinnen Williams. But we do need guys. Maybe that could be the next topic of discussion when you look at this defense. Who are the guys outside of Quinnen who need to be better than, oh, yeah, he's out there. He's okay for this thing to be the way that we want it to be. Clay's in the super chat. The most recent iterations of the Cowboys do not play on the road well and do not play the Cardinals well. Not as optimistic as Jeff, I fear. LOL. Look, teams occasionally.
By the way, the use of LOL, I've always I'm confused by that one. Can you explain? Because somebody will go after me and then they'll put LOL, and I don't know what they mean by that.
Okay, so the reason that people use LOL these days, and my generation is the prime of it.
To try and show that I'm serious, but I'm not serious?
You're trying to convey, because you know that the typed word does not express any emotion. They're just words, right?
Mm.
And so as the generation of overthinkers, you slap an LOL at the end. And that way I'm letting you know, like, we're good. I'm having fun. You know, if the words here, you could read just the words with no LOL and be like, you coming at me, bro? I want you to know. I'm not.
So why type the words and then slap LOL on there? The intent is to make a point that he does not agree with you.
You're saying I'd like to engage.
Why
with you.
Why is your generation fence riders?
They want you to know that I'm not looking for a fight. I disagree.
But why type the words?
But because I disagree, and I do want you to know that.
I know. I appreciate.
But I want you to know I'm not mad at you, and I like you.
I respect you more if you're mad at me, and don't slap the LOL on there. If you're going to type the words, the intent is to, like, listen, bro, I don't agree with you, but LOL, I'm still your buddy. You know, what are you trying to do? People want to be mean about things, but then when it comes time to somebody maybe being mean back, they're LOL.
Well, I think it's just a generational difference. We're wanting to disagree while still having a good time, and you want to fight. And so we're trying to disarm you.
I believe in the word. I believe in the intent. I believe that if you type the words like, I am not confident in this football team, I don't agree with you, Jeff. Stand on that. Don't LOL me. You're telling me that, yeah, Jeff, I don't agree with you, but we're still good, buds. You know, just don't type the words.
I like to, in every personal text I send, I bet 60% of them have an LOL.
You do. You're an LOL guy, and it drives me effing nuts.
Because I don't feel like I can convey tone with just words, so I need you to know that whatever I say.
Don't type.
We're just having a good time. We're just having a good time there.
Don't type.
We're just having a good time.
Okay, I just real quick, I don't understand why people. And I respect if somebody wants to come after me and say, listen, I don't agree.
Yeah.
I don't take it. Maybe I'm not as soft as people are.
Yeah.
I don't take like there was like Landon Holyfield. I'm calling him out. He was talking about Ed Werder made a comment yesterday on the Doing All Right about that. He was talking about insiders and the guys that you trust and voices within the walls, and and how outsiders sometimes don't have that trust.
Right.
And to me, Landon took it as he was calling out all people who don't cover the team in the building. And I'm like, no, but if you ask people who are beat writers within those walls, they will tell you that they have some problems with content creators and people like myself. They have some problems with the media. But I'm saying, you can't take it personal.
Hey, look, Todd Archer, if you want to fight, we can fight, But
see, that's saying there are people that cover that team every single day that are very, very, very trustworthy people. And I think Ed's point is, and I don't disagree with him. I think if you're there every single day and you're there with the players, you have the interaction with the players. There's a level of trustworthiness there. But Landon, he kind of took it as
go get him.
He took it as like, well, and he said, no, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it that way. And I'm like, well,
see, he hit you with the LOL.
No, he typed it that way.
Yeah.
He typed it as, did I hear Ed Werder say that you can't trust people outside that are not at the Star? You know what?
The reason we all follow the beat writers because they
bingo. They live there. They every single day. And Ed made a good point. And again, Ed was there when the Cowboys were 1-15, and he was also covering the team when they were winning Super Bowls. There's a certain level that the players see. They see you making the effort. They are more willing to saddle up to a Todd Archer or a Clarence Hill or somebody like that because they see them every single day.
Yeah.
And so we shouldn't take offense when somebody says, I really don't find it trustworthy, a lot of people who cover this team. I don't take it that way.
I wouldn't trust me. That's why I just tell you what I think. You need to know from the beat.
Oh, we've made a living. We've made a living doing this.
Yeah.
We're not there every single day.
Yeah.
We're not there every single day.
I don't want to be. I respect the hell out of the beat writers, and I love that they're going to give me what I need
job.
to do my job.
Tough job.
Yeah.
Really tough job.
All right, Brian, let's take care of some business here. Let me make sure I know what I'm doing. I remember what to do. I click a button over here. I click that button over there. And then I tell you that this show is presented to you by our friends at PrizePicks. I'm not even logged in. Hold on. Please don't show my password on the screen. Just pop me in there, please. I sure would appreciate it. All right, we're in there. Now, I could just pop over and do some darts or some PGA. And, Brian, you think I'm a little too reckless with my actions on PrizePicks. That I'm just clicking through here, doing whatever's close.
Your reckless might be beating me. I like Paige Beckers. I had her on an over the other day, but unfortunately,
more than you'd have her on a more than is what you
more
had.
Than more than. I'm sorry, more than. I had her on a more than, and then I had Chris Sale on a more than on strikeouts, and so one of the two hit. So
I like tough, man.
Hitting these things, man.
I like the goblins because what they are is the goblin is telling you it's very likely that they are going to go more than that number. So your return a little lower on the goblin, but I do like to throw a goblin in the lineup. So we're going to take a Leah Boston there, 3.5 first quarter points. We'll go more than. Then we'll pop over to NFL and just combine it with that a little bit. Let's see. Pick me some randoms here. Will Anderson, I'm going to say he has more than 10.75 sacks on the season, but 0 against Dallas, of course. Jahmyr Gibbs, we got rid of Montgomery. Yeah, but he catches the ball a lot. I'm going to say less than 1,224.5 rush yards because he's going to catch a bunch of passes. And bam, I got 3 players in my lineup, $10 entry fee there, get me 50. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take our dub like that. And that's what you do on PrizePicks. Pretty darn easy, pretty darn simple. Sign up for PrizePicks with the code HMA. You'll get $50 in lineups instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's our friends at PrizePicks. Now let me see if I can remember how to get up out of here. I go bang, bang. Look at that. Bang. All right, we got some super chats in here. Let's see who we got. Scrolly to Alec. Alec said, I just feel like their offense can score on anybody. provided the defense is good enough to keep them in games and not make them one-dimensional. Yeah, that's what I wonder about the games like Houston. Like when you talk about the Texans, maybe the best defense in football, one of the best defenses in football. When you go into a game against Houston, are you anticipating the Cowboys are going to have to win that game like 13-10, or do you believe that one of the best offenses in football can put up points on that team? Like, I think the Cowboys can beat the Texans because I think the Texans have reached a point where their offense is struggling. And I'm thinking the Cowboys can score points on whoever, unless, of course, our offensive tackles get us murdered.
Well, you're going to have to find ways. I mean, initially, you're going to have to see, can the Cowboys, and I think the Ravens will be a pretty good test for you to see. I can understand. We'll see, the Commanders will be healthy. The Giants will be healthy, but you go out there and you struggle with those two offenses, and then you struggle with the Ravens, and then it's like, okay, well, here we go. This is, we need to shut the Texans down in order to win this game, and you can't do it. Then that might be the problem the whole season. We'll see. I mean, they've thrown a lot of things at it with the coordinator, the coaching staff. They've thrown a lot of it with the draft picks that they've made. So yeah, a lot of it's going to be on, can they, when Dallas's offense is struggling to move the ball, can they find a way to prevent the other team from moving the ball as well?
And I think the Baltimore game will be a really big test because the one part of this defense that I think I'm fairly sold on is I do believe they'll be a good run defending team. I think they've added the big bodies. I think schematically it'll be a big part of their focus. And so I think that part of this team should be rock solid defending the run. You ain't going to find a better test for that. You're not going to find a better test for, are you assignment sound, and are you stout enough up the middle, and are you holding the edge, than the two dudes standing in the backfield in Baltimore. That's going to be your test. And if they pass that test, then you'll feel really good about their run defense the rest of the way. Big Business is in the super chat. He's also a member of the channel, which we appreciate. Who's a free agent out there who realistically the Cowboys add after camp, in y'all's opinion? They always add someone. Y'all each pick a different player. I have one that I want them to add, but I don't think they will. Taylor Decker. Like, if he's got anything left in the tank, isn't that a better left tackle than Tyler Guyton or Nate Thomas or whatever? Or are we just holding Tyler Smith in the chamber? If left tackle is a train wreck, we're just going to yank our all-pro guard out there.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I didn't think that you were going to go that. I didn't think you were going to go that route. But
isn't he better than what you got?
Oh, I don't.
Even the older, not quite as good version, who I'm interested in knowing why he asked out of Detroit. Is it just because they wanted to replace him? I guess. Like,
I mean, there's so many times where I watch him and he falls into that category that I normally. That category that
the guys you don't like.
No, the guys that aren't strong, and you watch them get kind of pushed around, and you watch them get bullied, and and I don't know, man.
They're going to add a linebacker. They're going to add a linebacker for sure at some point. And I wonder, I know early on we said schematically maybe not a fit, but depending on market, is Jadeveon Clowney coming back a possibility? He was your best pass rusher last year.
I kind of feel like they're in that mode right now where I think you're in that mode right now where you kind of told him you weren't interested in him, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you say that you're not a fit?
Kind of, sort of indirectly a little bit. It was like, wasn't it Steven who was kind of like, and we'll see Christian and new and that, and we'll see if that's whatever's a fit. But yeah, like if you're talking about just solidifying things, I think they have enough guys playing on the edge. But if you had the means and the opportunity to have Jadeveon Clowney playing snaps instead of Sam Williams, aren't you better? But maybe they would view that as, but we need these snaps for Ezra Raku and Malachi Lawrence.
Would you, if you're going to do that, would you go with like Hassan Reddick or Joey Bosa?
Yeah, I think any of those guys being added, and I wonder how they view that. Like, would they view signing one of those guys as that's going to immediately usurp snaps that I want for my first round
Yeah.
pick and for Ezeraku, or do they view it as I am upgrading my 4th, 5th, 6th edge rusher guy? Because there's no doubt that group of names upgrades you over everybody not named Ezeraku, Lawrence, Gary. And that maybe that's it. I mean, James Houston gives you some of that, but yeah, I could use another guy.
How about you've moved on from Diggs? How about like some guy like Sneed, Darius Sneed?
I could do that too.
He's a younger guy. I mean, I think that's like 4 or 5 years in the league. So, it would be better than him than say Marshawn Lattimore, something like that.
I could do one more corner. Because I think I do think corner is the one, maybe the one. I had to think it over real quick, but the one that jumps into my mind. Corner is the one where I honestly believe there is a training camp battle at corner. Like it's not just Deron Bland and Savone Revel are out there. I think Devin Moore and Kobe Durant, like you have a real battle. And I feel good about all 4 of those guys. When I get to my 5th corner, I don't feel as good. I know they'll have better depth and I'll feel better than I did a year ago with what they had there. But if your 5th guy is going to be who? Kendrick or Carson or whoever, I think I can upgrade that.
Would you do Von Miller?
I try it. I mean, what's he going to get? $6? Like, I know he's not what he was, but he want to come home and just
like
hang
15.
out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he had some production with the Commanders last year. I'll give you another one too. How about Matt Milano? Now I know he's always hurt at Buffalo.
Any linebacker works for me.
More so than the Bobby Wagners and.
I'd be fine with that either way because I want Jayshon Barham to have a chance to play snaps. I feel like D Winners can start for you and that'll be okay. What I think they need to do at linebacker is I don't think they want Shamar James to be a guy who starts playing a bunch of snaps if one guy gets hurt. And so you want Shamar James to be linebacker 5, not linebacker 4. So I'm looking for a 3rd or 4th best linebacker on the team. And if that's Milano, that works. That works.
I mean, Matt Milano to me is like he's played like 9-10 years in the league. But he's one of those guys that when he's healthy, man, he's always around the ball. He is always making tackles. He's kind of getting interceptions. And I just wonder, but the problem is his health. He's never healthy. He's just never healthy. So
that'll fit in great in our linebacker room, Brian. We definitely don't have that problem there. Big business in the super chat. Shout out, Brian. Ed Werder was amazing yesterday. I'm gonna check that out on my way into work. Make sure you're following Crown Global Media on every platform. And that's where you had him, right? You had him on Crown.
Yeah, we did, and really, it was more. He made some comments about the quarterback situation with Dak, and him covering Troy Aikman and Tony Romo and stuff. It's really a bit of a history lesson if you want to know exactly what happened when Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones parted ways at the NFL owners meeting there in Orlando that one day.
he was there.
He was the guy who broke the story. He tells within detail how this all went down.
Jerry Jones told him I'm about to go fire his ass.
Well, yeah, but also though Larry Lacewell had a hand in it, and then Jimmy Johnson had a hand in it as well. It was they couldn't just watch. See if you're interested in how this thing went down. Ed walks you through step by step how it happened, and it was a really unique story.
That's super cool. Lakewood Landing Lot Lizard. I don't agree with you, BB. Cowboys go 11-6 this year.
There you go.
And we need Randy and Danny White on the coaching staff along with Sean Lee. No LOL.
Yeah.
Antone's in the super chat, opposite of last year. If the O-line whoops the D-line, so this is training camp, do you think the O-line is that good? Or is the D-line that bad? I don't know. I
am not going to get fooled by training camp practices this year, kids. Just get ready for that. I'm going to report what I see. Hey, that was a nice win by Ezeraku. That was a poor rep by so-and-so. I am not going to cheerlead for any of these guys in training camp. I have made a living doing this. I made a living doing this. But I'll tell you what, I am, as the old song, I think it's The Who, I'm not going to get fooled again. That kind of thing, yeah.
Fool me once. Can't get fooled again.
Don't get fooled again.
Something like that is what George Dubb said.
George Dubb said that. He was at the Rangers game the other night.
Nice. So, we'll tell you what happens at camp and try real hard not to make a prediction for the season.
No. I am. You just asked me a question about camp. I'm like, he's been okay. Guy's been okay. He's been okay.
We got our Airbnb booked, and they finally listened to me. We are not in Oxnard. We are in Port Hueneme, which guess where that puts your boy? Right by the Rudder Room.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that'll be good. All right.
The mayor of the Rudder Room.
Thank you, Bryan. Everybody follow Crown Global Media on social, on YouTube. Make sure you're checking out everything they're doing. You can, of course, see me right here on my little tiny channel and on DLLS Sports. And so let's have ourselves a day, Bryan. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Next week, Darren Woodson going to join us in our studio. So we should have some good conversation with Woody about the heir apparent to his the guy Downs. See if he believes that Downs could be the next him. How about that?
He does. He knows. All right. Thank you, everybody. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through. Be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy. And you feel free to use LOL to convey tone.